Hey guys, it's Mikko from MO Sound Lab and this is MIKKO Reflex. So I would say the MIKKO plugin itself is our biggest innovation in this industry. And last year we started making these reflex impulse responses, just IR packs, and the most common request ever since has been that people want to have these impulse responses in MIKKO format in the MIKKO plugin. And that is exactly what this video is all about. So here you have it. This is MIKKO Reflex, its very own plugin. What's cool about MIKKO Reflex is that it comes with a free version. So everyone can actually try out the Reflex impulse responses and actually miking up the Reflex cabinet on their own and experiencing this on their own completely free of charge. For this demonstration, I'm using the default preset, and this is the free Green 90. And let's just have a listen to what this song sounds like. I think it's pretty epic. Let's have a listen. Man, I have to say, I think last video I made, I was using the flagship AmpSim. Now going back and using ML5. Man, we have amazing AmpSim plugins. I mean, damn. Let's have a listen to just those rhythm guitar tracks because they just sound insane. Little bit out of tune, but hey, it's guitar. Now, if you are completely new to the MIKKO plugin, let me quickly explain what it's all about. It's about giving you ultimate freedom over placing microphones. So you can place these microphones 360 around the speaker. That is something that is nowhere to be found on other platforms. What you can do is blend multiple microphones, up to 9 microphones on this plugin, and make a mix of these microphones if you want to. That is overkill if you ask me, but you can do that. You can set up 9 microphones and get your awesome ultimate mix that you want. All of these microphones you can place on whichever speaker you want from this selection here. You can choose to have whichever microphone you want on whichever speaker. So the versatility is crazy. And on top of that, like I said, you can place the microphone 360 around the speaker and you will get a completely different sound if you place it on this side or if you place it on that side. Even though that is the same distance from the cap to the edge, you get a very different sound. And what I found is that people don't agree on what is the best sound out of the size of a speaker. So now you can get the sound that you like, because I'm pretty sure you know what you like better than I know what you like. I don't know, that's just my best guess. On top of this, you can also angle your microphone with tilt, and then you can add distance to your microphone. So let's just quickly have a listen to what that actually sounds like. Let's place this microphone somewhere like here, and let me just quickly show you what it sounds like. let's say you have two microphones. So let's just add one microphone in here. I'm gonna place this quickly, which is using my eyes, something like that. Then place a 421 in here, and maybe have it on this side. And what you can now do is play around with the phase. So something that you actually get when you are miking up guitar speakers with multiple microphones is phase problems or phase pleasant stuff. Trademark that. So if you pull the microphone slightly off phase, you get sometimes a very pleasant sound, and that is a big part of the realism of miking up. So let me quickly demonstrate that. I'm going to tweak around with the latency of the 421 in relation to the 57. So it's just this phase control here. And in my opinion, that is actually a very pleasant sound, and it got a lot fatter. And what I'm actually simulating there is the signal hitting the 421 later than it hits the 57. So I suppose that is like pulling the 421 back slightly on a guitar cabinet. And that is actually something I think most people that actually mic up guitar cabinets do, because it just sounds good. Now we need to quickly discuss what Reflex actually is. Reflex is a 1x12 guitar cabinet. But if I would say that to you, you would automatically think that, okay, it's unusably bright, it doesn't have any low end. But that is not the case. We actually worked with Zilla. Paul from Zilla has its own design of a 1x12 cabinet that is actually bigger than most 2x12s, and that is the Fat Baby. We slightly modified that to be even better for this purpose. So in comparison, I can actually give you a visual comparison of using the MIKKO plugin, MIKKO 2. And now that we have MIKKO 2 and MIKKO Reflex, I can pull up just 157 microphone on the same speaker. It's not the same exact speaker. One of them is from 93 and one of them is from the year 90. But they are essentially the same spec of speaker. Now obviously there will always be some resonance on a guitar cabinet, but this is the closest to a fully neutral guitar cabinet that I've ever experienced. If you look at this EQ curve, it's almost completely flat and neutral. While if you look at this EQ curve from a 4x12, you can see there is a huge scoop, then you have a huge bump in the mids, then from here on forward I would say that we have a similar thing happening if you really look at this. It's not the same exact speaker. Where this actually comes from is the signal of your speaker hitting the microphone twice. So this is geeky, but if you think about a guitar speaker, a microphone on it, the guitar speaker cone is moving and making sound and pushing the sound this way, hitting the microphone, but also that same cone is actually making sound on the other side. So it makes sound to the back of the cabinet, then as a reflection coming back from the back of the cabinet, it comes again to the microphone. So you're actually getting a phase problem every single time you're miking up a guitar cabinet. But hey, this is already getting a little bit too geeky, so let's just compare what a similar mic up would sound like on a traditional guitar cabinet versus a Reflex one. So this is the Reflex version. And this is the 4x12. So both of them sound good. That's not the problem. The only thing is that in comparison, the Reflex is so much more clear and sits in the mix nicely, while in comparison, that mic up on the MIKKO 2 was very muddy. And that is the rumble, all the rumble that you get out of a 4x12 that really isn't supposed to be there, because all these traditional 4x12 guitar cabinets were designed to be loud on a stage. They were not really optimized for miking up, while what we tried our best to do with this Reflex impulse response system is to have the first ever actual guitar cabinet designed for miking up rather than live stage loud use. Now let's go through the features of the MIKKO Reflex. What everyone is mostly waiting for is how many speakers are we actually getting? We're getting 18 speakers in here, and let me go through them a little bit later on. All those 18 speakers can be mic'd up with 8 different microphones, but on top of that we actually have a new feature called resonance. So what this does, it actually simulates those traditional guitar cabinets, but only their color and not the phase information. So this is not us actually miking up all these different cabinets. This is all about adding that color of a traditional guitar cabinet, but also getting the benefits of using a Reflex without getting the phase problem. So for example, I could pick this 57 on a green 90 speaker and choose, instead of the Reflex, to have it on a Mesa 4x12. And you can see you get more low end rumble, you get some spikes in the mid-range. You can put it in a British 4x12. Kind of a similar result, but the resonance in the mid-range is different. Then you can place it in a 2x12. And a 2x12 will actually be quite neutral in that sense. So I actually like using 2x12s for that reason. And ultimately the combo. And the combo resonance pushes the low end higher to the lower mids and actually has a subdued kind of actual low end. Now something that is new to MIKKO Reflex is a more profound preset section. So we have 3 different folders already. One of them is called multiple speakers. So this is where I'm blending 2 different speakers or more together and getting all these amazing sounds. They all sound really good. Then we have a single mic folder where I'm kind of placing just one microphone on different speakers and getting like a ready sound with just one speaker and one microphone. Then we have a single speaker folder where I'm concentrating on one speaker with multiple microphones. So already you have quite many sounds to start out with if you don't know what you're doing with your mic up. Now I'm gonna demonstrate all the speakers inside MIKKO Reflex and talk about them a little bit. So let's just pick the 57 and keep it there. Now the first speaker on the list is the Andro 64, and that is based on the Alessandro GA64 speaker. A lot of hype around that speaker a few years ago. It's kind of a speaker that is similar to most Alnico speakers, so a very early frequency roll-off on this speaker, and this is what it sounds like on just a 57. I would place the 57 a little bit brighter for that, so the next speaker is the Anniversary H30, and this is actually from the year 2003, so probably one of the best years of cones that Celestion ever had. In comparison, you can already see that we have this high end that is crazy aggressive. So instead of pushing the 57 to the center, you actually want to push it more to the edge. So maybe this is more usable. Then we have the black M75. So that is actually a blackback from the year 1975 and the medium magnet. So that is the best blackback. That is what it is. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Then we have the Blue 15, which is based on the Alnico Blue. And this is probably one of the greatest speakers of all time. So essentially what even the V30 is based on. So if we place this microphone somewhere around here, let's have a listen. Then we have the Cream 75, so the H75 greenback, a modern cream back. And let's place the microphone slightly like that. And you know, the best way for me to explain what a greenback sounds like is pretty much it's more like a greenback, but it has some V30ness to it. But it's a high power greenback. That is essentially what it is. Then we have the Damon 60, which is based on the Hesu Demon speaker. Very V30 like, but even more angry sounding. Here's what it sounds like. Then we have the Gent 30. Gent 30 is the main speaker I used for the Periphery 3 album. If you didn't know, the Periphery 3 album was fully using my impulse responses from my personal guitar cabinet from my collection. So this is the main speaker of that cabinet in the Reflex cabinet. And let's have a listen to what that sounds like. This is very, very nice, kind of a quick roll off in the high end, very modern sounding. Then the Green 90, I think you've heard enough of that. We have an actual pre-roller 55, so this would be the speaker that Jimi Hendrix used back in the day. This is that same spec in the Reflex cabinet. That is insane. So one of the most vintage things you can imagine put in a Reflex cabinet. It's a little bit difficult to mic up, actually, I'll be honest, but you have to place it quite far with the 57. So you could clearly tell that the best angle for that speaker was definitely not what we had before, but just for comparison's sake, I'm trying to keep it here. And then we have the M75. So if Jimmy used the Heavy Magnet 55 speaker, AC/DC, Eddie Van Halen, everyone else was using the Medium Magnet 75 Hz version. So this is a pre-roller vintage speaker once again. And this is probably the most important speaker in my entire collection. So just put that perspective. This is what it sounds like. Let me just give it a quick tweaky. And that speaker is more than 50 years old. And how modern does it sound? It's epic. It's one of my best speakers in my collection. If it ever gets broken, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Then we have the Gens, which is essentially the speaker that Deluxes come with, Fender Deluxes. So similarly to some Alnico speakers, the high end is very much rolled off. It's there, so if you're using a combo speaker and you have a lot of distortion and drive going on, the high end is not gonna be way over the top. So I think that is the purpose of these speakers. So if you want to have a super pleasant high end, this is what you want to be using. Then we have the Lynchback. Then we have the Mega 00, and the Mega 00 is from the year 2000, and this is actually the main speaker of our classic first ever IR pack, and that is the Mega Oversize. So this is that main speaker from that cabinet in the Reflex cab. Just for comparison's sake, also the Gen 30 is from that same year. So if you have two different guitar cabinets from the year 2000 that lived a very different life, how different will they sound? Let's jump back and forth. There is similarity in there, but they do not sound the same. Then we have the Mega 92, so the first ever production year of a Mesa 4x12, and this is the main speaker from that cabinet. Man, that is awesome. Then we have one from 98. So this is what I call the Korn speaker. So if you're a fan of Korn and their guitar sound, this is very close to that. Then we have the Slipknot speaker, the MIKKO 77. Then we have the Mofo, so the Mode 4 British speaker from the year 2000. It's a B30 kind of based speaker. And we have the Ruby 35, so that is the Alnico Ruby. And similarly to all these Alnico speakers, a very early frequency roll-off on this one. You want to get rid of that spike there, and then it's good. And that is all the 18 different speakers. Like I said before, you can add the resonances of different guitar cabinets, you can mic them up with 8 different microphones, and you can blend all these. We didn't really talk about the EQ section, which is actually pretty damn epic and awesome. So let's do that quickly. So if we pick this default preset, and let's say we just use our eyes and decide that we don't like these spikes here, we can actually EQ them out. So if I pick this B from here and use the wheel of my mouse, I can make this EQ sharper, and then I can actually just pull that back. And let's say this spike right here is a problem. Let's do the same thing here. With the wheel of my mouse, I can change the Q of this EQ, pull it down, boom, it's gone. Let's do the same thing here. This spike bothers my eyes, so it has to go, and boom, it's done. Look at that EQ curve, looks amazing. So let's have a listen to what that actually sounds like in the mix. Bypass. And that's it. If you're not getting your perfect guitar tone with MIKKO Reflex, something is wrong with you. Go get it now, there's an intro deal for it. Now is the best time to get it. See you later. I've been MIKKO from ML Sound Lab. Bye.